Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night meeting for the Vision Masters Toastmasters Club. And this is our meeting for May 2nd. I'm looking at the agenda and the theme didn't show up. However, it sounds like we are doing the meeting as it were off the cuff. Uh-oh. Hello? Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, heck, what's going on here?
We can hear you, Kwaza.
Okay, I couldn't see that on my screen. It didn't show that my audio was on, so. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And Dee Marie, thank you for joining us for tonight's meeting. I do want to say that I appreciate you joining us, even though you are driving and in transit. I appreciate folks who can do that, the multitask, drive and talk and pay attention.
Just FYI, I have pulled over and parked, okay?
Good.
Good. Now I feel better. So, and hello, Mike. Thank you for joining us as well. Hello?
You bet.
Oh, okay, there you are. So tonight's meeting, and we are going to be regaled with some interesting speeches. We will have a speech delivered by Mike Pruett on pathways, from innovative planning. And I think that this is very important in that even though at this point some of us have done one or more pathways, still there's, at least I'll speak for myself, there's always something to learn about the pathway and how as you go through it. So I'm looking forward to getting some information and possibly a tip or two from Mike's speech. And we'll have a speech and table topics from Dr. Wade on active listening. So some good speeches from tonight's meeting. I am now going to don the hat of Toastmaster as we've welcomed everybody to the meeting. And I'm just aware that, our general evaluator is not here at this time. So I will just, for the moment, triple hat and wear the
General
hat.
evaluator.
What's that?
Was the general evaluator?
I thought that was going to be JC, however, not here. So right now I'll fill in for the moment. And we have a timer, which is Wesson Sahai, who will be timing the speakers and our table topic speakers. So Wesson, if you can, just give us your role as timer for the speakers and table topics for tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and Mr. GE. And my role as a timer, I will prepare the speech. I believe we have two speakers. The first speaker, I believe, is Mike, 6 to 8 minutes, and 6 minutes. The first one is Dr. Wade.
Mike is our first speaker, but I believe Mike said 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, 10 to 12. I thought 8 to 10. Okay, 10 to 12 minutes, and 10 minutes I'll raise, let me raise my hands. You'll see the timer. Okay, 10 minutes green, 11 minutes, and yellow I will show in my phone, and 12 minutes and red. And you have 30 seconds to be qualified or to finish your speech. And Dr. Wade, I believe 5 to 7 minutes. 5 minute mark, I will show green. 6 minutes, I will show yellow, and 7 minute marks, I will show red. And still you have 30 seconds. If you have table topics, 1 to 2 minutes. 1 minute, you will see a green one. When at 1.5 minutes, you'll see yellow, and red means 2 minutes, and you have 30 seconds. And for evaluators, 2 evaluators, 2 minutes minimum, 3 minutes maximum. 2 minutes means green, 2.5 minutes yellow, and 3 minutes green. And everybody, like I said, 30 seconds grace period. So if you finish within that time will be good. And I'll give a report later on when I call by general evaluator. Back to you, Mr. GE.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction as timer. Now, as Toastmaster, we do have 2 speakers tonight. Our first speaker is Mike Pruett. Mike Pruett will be talking from the Pathways Project Innovative Planning, Level 5, Reflect on Your Path. Mike was born in Oakland and grew up in Berkeley, a California kid. He is a retired CPA with a master's degree in taxation. And I'm imagining that he's been pretty busy these past few weeks. Mike is a volunteer at FamilySearch.org, helping to build a free family tree of the human family. Mike has been married for 46 years, has 5 children and 15 grandchildren. He has served as a club treasurer, an educational vice president, and District 57 Area B21 Director. So he has some familiarity with the Toastmaster structure. He has also completed 3 paths in the Pathways program and a Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program at Heritage High School, which I just like to make a comment observationally. I think that's great. Youth are the future, and that's really good that he is doing some work to take the Toastmasters program to the young people. He is club coach for our Vision Masters Toastmasters Club, and he has completed the requirements for the District 57 Elite Triple Crown Award. Yahoo! Here, talking about reflecting on his 3rd path in Pathways, please help me welcome Mike Pruett. His project title is My 3rd Path in Pathways. Mike Pruett, My 3rd Path in Pathways.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. You know, there's been a lot of news about the protests lately. And it reminds me of growing up in Berkeley during the 60s with all the protests about the Vietnam War. There were also a lot of drugs going around in Berkeley. And someone said, if you can remember living in Berkeley during the 60s, you weren't there. Now, for all you Star Wars fans, you may want to make a note on your calendar for Saturday. That is the one day each year where you can truly say, may the 4th be with you. Now, I don't know if you saw the news story about Wally. Wally, the 5.5-foot emotional support alligator. His owner, Joey Henney, says Wally has helped him overcome his depression issues for the last 10 years. And he's upset because Wally escaped on a recent vacation trip to Georgia. But this brings up the question, what is the main difference between an alligator and a crocodile? One will see you later, the other will see you after a while. Okay, the training module for reflect on your past suggests your speech cover 3 areas. List your accomplishments in Toastmasters while you were working on your path. List your accomplishments outside of Toastmasters while you were working on your path. And talk about your new goals in Toastmasters. So first of all, list your accomplishments in Toastmasters. On July 29th, 2023, I became an official club coach. Becoming a club coach meets one of the requirements for becoming a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. The easy part of becoming a coach is finding a club to coach, because the district has a list of clubs that are in need. And they matched me up with Vision Masters, Toastmasters Club of Oakland. When I started, there were only 5 members, and the club members have to vote to accept you. They were very gracious and voted to accept me after my first visit. I think it might have helped that I was born in Oakland and I grew up in Berkeley. I used to go to the hospital at Kaiser on MacArthur Boulevard and Broadway, and for checkups. And after my checkup, we'd go over to Fenton's and have some ice cream. And one day I went over there to have some ice cream, and they said they were all out of ice cream. And I said, "What happened?" And they said, "Well, our ice cream truck broke down." I said, "Why?" They said, "Because of the rocky road." Okay, so it took about 3 weeks for the district to approve me as club coach, and I have a recommendation. If you want to be a club coach, I recommend that you start the application process on June 1st so that you can officially start being your club coach on July 1st, because it can take up to a month for the district to process your application. So as club coach, my job was to encourage club leaders to do things like read the Distinguished Club Manual, do a Moments of Truth, create a club success plan, and do an open house. But with the help and guidance of Cynthia Stott, Division D Director, the club also did a speechcraft. My primary job as club coach was to support the club meetings in roles that needed filling, like Toastmaster, Timer, Awe Counter, Grammarian, Table Topics Master, General Evaluator, Speaker, and Joke Master. Speaking of Joke Master, I have a joke for you. How many Toastmasters does it take to screw in a light bulb? Only one, but it will take her at least 5 minutes and not more than 7 minutes, 30 seconds. I also attended Vision Masters officer meetings and helped recruit new members. In order to get DTM credit for being a club coach, the club has to achieve a distinguished level. That meant we had to have at least 3 new members at the fiscal year end and 12 level completions. At this time, Vision Masters qualifies for select distinguished with 8 out of a potential 10 goals completed. The club still has time to reach President's Distinguished with 9 out of 10 goals completed by either getting 1 more level 1 completion or 2 more new members. We had a lot of great speeches and a lot of level completions, thanks to all the hard work of the members in the Speechcraft program. One of the best things that happened to me as club coach was that I became friends with Division D Director Cynthia Stott. She is not only a DTM, but is also a speech and self-confidence coach. She's a global influencer with over 55,000 followers in 140 countries. She also had a stroke last week and is asking everybody to keep her in your prayers. Cynthia is also a founding member of Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club that has members from all over the world, and she invited amazing guest speakers to our meetings and connected the club with an expert in Canva that created stunning advertisement. She is dedicated to helping all the clubs in her division survive and thrive, especially Vision Masters. She attended almost every meeting and encouraged the club to hold an open house every meeting. I learned that you can get credit for an open house if you have three things: an advertisement, an agenda with the words open house on it, and at least 3 guests. Then the club can get district bucks. If I understand correctly, you can get district bucks for up to 6 open houses a year. So Cynthia also arranged for me to have speaking opportunities at other clubs in the division, and I also conducted a District 57 training on new member orientations. I visited Swift Plaza Toastmasters twice. That's the club that my friend Dwayne Leem has been coaching. Once I was a speaker, and once I attended in person to support their open house, where I won my very first blue ribbon for table topics. They liked my joke about the 3 rings of marriage: the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the supper ring. District 57 has a YouTube channel where they post training videos and other recordings. One of my biggest accomplishments while I was working on this path was to set up 2 YouTube channels. One for Vision Masters, where we could upload meeting recordings, edit them if needed, and help people learn from watching their speeches. The other channel ended up being for myself and other people that wanted to record speeches outside the club. That was something I probably never would have done if I had not served as club coach. I also trained some Vision Master Club members, and I was especially happy to find that one of our members had actually purchased the premier YouTube channel package, but had not learned to use it. And we were both happy that I could teach him. That, of course, was Hank. And he does a fantastic job of recording meetings and sending out recordings to members and guests. Tyler, Daniel, and Enrique from my home club were on my high performance leadership project action team that helped me make that happen. I also learned about Toastmasters Triple Crown Award and the District 57 Triple Elite Crown Award. I met the requirements for the Elite Triple Crown. You have to complete 3 levels in a path, and one of them has to be a level 5. So my division director tells me that my Elite Triple Crown Award will be awarded at the district conference on May 11th. Okay, so what about my accomplishments outside of Toastmasters? My most important accomplishment was to attend the graduation of my youngest son, Hunter, when he received his PhD in mechanical engineering at Brigham Young University in Utah. It was a 5-year program that included working on a research project for NASA, which paid for his tuition and living expenses. When he started his PhD, he also got married. And over the last 5 years, he has had 3 of the cutest little girls I have ever seen. I am hoping I can get the share screen to work so I can show you some pictures. Who has the power? Give me the share screen. Do we have a...
You can,
Ah, there we go. Got it.
okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh,
That's my granddaughter, my daughter Laura. She has 1 little baby. She's married, has 1 little baby. One of the cutest little babies you ever seen. But I'm gonna go show you some pictures of Hunter. Oh, here's a picture of my level 3 pathway completion. Very nice. Now here's Hunter getting his PhD after that 5-year program. And here's the 3 little girls that he had during that time, and his beautiful wife. And here's a pretty picture with all the matching dresses. Isn't that beautiful? The interesting thing about this is I have 4 boys and a girl. My 4 boys all have doctor's degrees. One is a doctor of osteopathy. He's an interventional radiologist as a partner in a medical group down in Fresno. And he's married, has 4 kids. One is a doctor of dentistry. He's has a dental practice in Boulder, Colorado. One is a attorney, doctor of jurisprudence, and he is a lawyer in Austin, Texas area. And then the PhD is the other one. The interesting thing about they were all married and had kids while they were working on their doctor's degrees. And I think that having these cute little kids to come home to and a beautiful wife really gave them the incentive to work hard. One interesting thing is my attorney son originally got his master's degree in civil engineering, and he worked 10 years as a civil engineer before he decided to change careers and go into law. Somebody asked me, that is a big career change. What happened? And I asked Josh, what was that? He says, well, actually, I think law was my first choice, but I kept hearing my dad tell me these jokes about lawyers. And it made me afraid to go into law. So I said, what jokes were that? Was that the joke about what do lawyers do when they sleep at night? First they lie on one side, then they lie on the other? Or was it the joke about what the lawyer named his children? He named his daughter Sue and his son Bill. Anyway, it's all good news. And my goals from here on out, I want to finish up my year as a club coach, and then I've got my district, my DTM project that I'm going to get from the district, and I'll be all done. And I just want to pass on something that I learned from Cynthia. There is no I in team. And team stands for together, everyone achieves more. And teamwork makes the dream work. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mike, for giving us that information about your journey as you went through the pathways. Definitely shared some interesting insights and also some tips and information for those of us who are looking at working through that pathway ourselves. So thank you very much. I would like to ask the timer to just give us like 60 seconds where participants can send comments or questions to Mike via the chat.
Okay. 60 seconds. Do you need more, 30 seconds more? Maybe.
Does anybody need more time? I'm not seeing that, so, okay, thank you very much. Our second speaker for tonight's meeting is Dr. Wade Cartwright. And Dr. Wade will be talking from the Pathways Project Active Listening. I should mention here that this will not necessarily be a speech per se, but it will definitely be an opportunity for Dr. Wade to engage in active listening and feedback with those who participate in the table topics. The project title is Active Listening. Our speaker, excuse me, is Dr. Wade Cartwright. Dr. Cartwright has been a member of Vision Masters for several years. He has held the offices of VP of Education as well as President. He has also worked towards his DTM under the legacy, I guess the legacy portion of Toastmasters, and currently working towards that status again under the Pathways. Dr. Wade Cartwright in Active Listening. Active Listening, Dr. Wade Cartwright.
Thank you for the introduction, Waza. And hello, fellow Toastmasters. My goal today is to complete this project on active listening in the team collaboration path. This is a level 2 project. And what I'm going to do here is to invite fellow Toastmasters to speak and to give feedback on what they say. In a sense, I love quotations. I'm going to, instead of me providing quotations, I'm going to be very lazy and asking my fellow Toastmasters to provide a quotation. So I ask one Toastmaster to provide the quotation and another Toastmaster to give to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on the quotation. So I'm going to since Mike, your voice is already warmed up, let's have you give us a quotation.
You would like me to give you a quotation, is that right?
Yes, sir. It could be your favorite or not.
Well, let me think about that for a minute.
So in doing so, I'm going to ask other Toastmasters to be thinking about a quotation that they would like to offer.
Okay, one of my favorite people is Dr. Seuss. And here is one of his quotes. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know. And you are the one who will decide where to go. Dr. Seuss.
Oh, okay. I thank you, Mike, for your quotation. And let me ask Weston to speak to that.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, by Napoleon Hill.
Dr. Wade?
Pardon?
Did you hear me, Dr. Wade?
The task is for you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on the quotation.
Okay, task is okay. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve, by Napoleon Hill. And what it means is whatever, if you believe in it, it must achieve. If you can, we can. If you think we can, we can. If we think we can't, we can't. So it's up to us. I think God gave us the most powerful things is our mind. Everything is up to us.
Thank you, Weston, for your response. So I'm going to say that I heard you say that whatever the mind can conceive,
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
and okay, it's my job to repeat what you said. So thank you for helping me with my job. So the next quotation, I'm going to ask Hank to give us a quotation.
Okay. Well, one quotation that I find to be fun for me is Mark Twain said, "If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything." So that reminds me that living in being truthful and honest can simplify your life, and it kind of reminds you of some of the problems that can occur if you're trying to keep track of stories and what you said to who about what. So sometimes you can save yourself a lot of stress and hassle just by telling the truth, even if it's uncomfortable at the time. And back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Mike. Hank, what I heard you said is that it's better to tell the truth because it's easier, it's less stressful, and so that's basically what I heard. So thank you for your input. And the next quotation, let me ask let me ask Quasi to give us a quotation.
Why, certainly. However, if I may, I'd like to circle back to the quotation that Wesson gave us. Whatever your mind can conceive, you can achieve. When I heard Weston say that, and as I listened to her, excuse me, what came to mind for me was a couple of things. One, for those who might remember the original movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, there was a song in that movie called Pure Imagination. That's what came to mind for me as I remembered Weston's quote. Imagination, that is the key part of what your mind can conceive. The ability to imagine something, maybe something that had not been thought of before. I think of all the wonderful devices and applications that are available to us now. And I remember back when there was the first computers. These were machines that filled up an entire warehouse room, big machines. Somebody had to have the imagination to think that we do not have to have these big machines to do these calculations. Somebody had to have the imagination that we can put this information on something smaller. Imagination, it's very powerful. And when imagination is coupled with the ability to be a little mirthful and have fun, we can enjoy that creative process. For example, I'm a person who enjoys cultural arts. Once upon a time when we talked about dance, there was the square dance, there was different types of dance. Now you see people moving their bodies in ways, who would have thought that we could actually bend and contort our bodies in such a way? It's imagination. So, Dr. Wade, to taking a riff on Weston's quote, imagination, it's so powerful, and we can have fun with it.
Thank you, Quasi, for your response to the what the mind can achieve. Can be done. Your response focused on imagination, and imagination can be creative and result in inventions, and in art it can be creative and result in new forms of art or new expressions of art. In terms of dance, is something that you were particularly impressed with, and didn't imagine that some of the current dancing could be possible or could even be tolerated, is what I didn't hear, but that's what I'm assuming that was the elephant in the room. So thank you, Quasi, for your response. Do we have time for more? One more. Okay. Let me ask.
Excuse me, is that a table topic question or the Dr. Wade's speech? I'm confused.
Well, each.
The project that Dr. Wade was doing was active listening. He was doing active listening as part of doing table topics in that he would not just ask the question, but using active listening would give a response to the person who responded to the table topic question.
Oh, I messed up. I just timing everyone. I'm gonna tell the general.
That's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
good.
So one more. Let's give as D. Marie for a quotation.
One of my favorite quotations is by Maya Angelou. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
And thank you for that quotation, D. Marie. So who would like to respond to that? Who has enough response to that they can speak for 1 to 2 minutes on that?
I can do that if you would like, Dr. Cartwright.
Okay, well, since the rules are flexible, carry on, D. Marie.
My interpretation of that quotation is, what you see is what you get. And beware of the wolf in sheep's clothing. First impressions are lasting impressions. All of those things refer back to that quotation. But when a person shows you who they are the first time, you get a glimpse of their authenticity. And then it would behoove you not to try and create an alternative narrative, but to go with what you see. Sometimes we try and build something into an individual's character or the presentation that they make that truly isn't there. When a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. It does not help to build an altruistic mental picture of an individual. They will show up as their true self, and you are doing yourself a disservice to try and invent a character that does not exist. And where this happens so often is in relationships. A woman meets a man and says, "Oh my God, I can change him. Girl, I got this. But I can make him into that phenomenal whatever." Think about that. And then the man says, "She's cute as a button, but I know I can, when I get through with her, oh my goodness." No, that is not the case.
Okay.
When they show you who they are the first time, believe them. And I rest my mic.
Okay, thank you, Marie, for your analysis of that. But I would like to have some fun right now and go back to Marie and have you respond to this quotation. You cannot tell a book by the cover.
Ooh.
That is absolutely astounding. I presented that exact speech at one of my Toastmasters clubs. I have written a book entitled Glass Heart, Forever Yours. And on the cover of the book are 3 red hearts that are intertwined. I have the skyline of Louisville, Kentucky, and the night skyline of Nashville, Tennessee. And as I described the content of the book, the cover was exactly what I said was inside the book. I talked about a hypothetical man who lived in Louisville, Kentucky, that showed up at the Kentucky Derby. I talked about a hypothetical woman that lived in Nashville, Tennessee, who said, "Oh my goodness, I have to go to the Derby this Saturday. I've never been, so I want that experience." And while she's there, she stumbles around in the stables and falls in the arm of Mr. Wright. Of course, she didn't know that at that moment because she was so engrossed in trying to find out how to bet on horses that she didn't even realize what had happened. He knew instantly, I will get to know this woman. I've got to get to know this woman. But she, after almost falling, regained her composure and asked him to show her how to bid on horses. To fast forward, she made a bid, won $6,000, and was just so elated. However, the cover of the book also had a dark skyline, which meant that there was some suspense, some drama, and some curiosity left to be disclosed in the book. And there was, because she had come from a domestic violence situation where it was so difficult for her to get into a new relationship. All she could do was remember the relationship that she had left. So I can truly tell you that that saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, is not necessarily true, because the cover of the book that I wrote is an absolute depiction of the inside of the book. And I rest my mic.
I thank you, Marie, for your response. I thought I had cornered you, but but it didn't work. So you're too clever for me. But in that regard, so that finishes my project, and let me say back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you for those interesting questions, Dr. Wade. And I want to thank our participants for those intriguing responses. By the way, I know this is unofficially not supposed to be a plug, but at some point, DeMarie, maybe you could share the title of that book, because it sounds interesting. Some of us do like to read something that's got a little tension in it.
I'm going to do more than that. I will make the book available and I will show you or give you information on how to purchase it. But it will come from me because the book is listed on Amazon. But I would like for anybody that wants to purchase it through Toastmasters, any of my Toastmaster family, to get an autographed copy, and they would have to get that from me. So I'll share that.
Yes. Thank you.
I will share that information with everyone. Thank you so much, Kawasa.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm a person who is old fashioned. I like to read a book, and I don't mind holding paper in my hands as opposed to a tablet. So anyway, now is the time of the meeting for the evaluation part. Let me put my hat on as general evaluator. And our first role on the evaluation part is the evaluation of our speeches. I am to evaluate our first speaker, Mike Pruett. Mike spoke about completing the pathways, and I want to first mention that Mike's style of speaking was very one-to-one. You felt like he was not giving a speech, but it felt as if he was sitting down with us in a room and just sharing some thoughts. I thought it was kind of, I guess the term might be folksy. But it was very warm and it was very open. This is a style that actually takes a little bit of practice. Not everybody can do it. So that his usage of this style was appreciated. In delivering his speech, Mike talked about 3 areas of accomplishment within Toastmasters, outside of Toastmasters. And he talked about his becoming the club coach for the Vision Masters Club. He offered some very good information. Mike mentioned that he became the club coach toward the end of July in the preceding year. He recommended that F1 is considering becoming a club coach to start the process early enough so that on the first day of July, the first year of the Toastmaster year, they can be available to be the club coach and not necessarily lose any time. Excuse me. Mike talked about lessons learned. He talked about the fact that the elite Triple Crown, achieving that, it's something that takes a lot of work and consistency in terms of being available to the club, making sure that if there's going to be an open house, all the requirements are met in terms of the advertisement, making notice for the people who attend, who are guests, and letting the Toastmasters International know that this has happened. Mike mentioned another one of his achievements, and I think this is pretty good in terms of the achievement. He trained Hank Cartwright as our tech host for the meeting. Hank, in this role, records the meeting, but also acts as the virtual sergeant at arms in terms of being the one for basically watching who comes into the meeting and coordinating how we are able to be muted or be able to be verbal within the meeting. This is a role that not all clubs have, even as more clubs are doing Zoom or virtual at this point. So I think that it was very foresighted by Mike to see this as an important role and to train Hank to do this task. I would offer for Mike, the next time he gives a speech, to use a little more vocal variety and also use a little more body language to emphasize the points and the achievements. Very good. Thank you very much, Mike, and look forward to hearing more in this speech again. Dr. Cartwright. Dr. Wade. Hello?
Yeah. Uh, I'm not clear about what you want me to do right now.
Oh, no, I was calling you. So was there a person, were you going to get specific feedback, or was the feedback coming from us in, via the chat?
I am evaluating Dr. Wade.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dee Marie. Well, our next evaluation will come from Dee Marie Shy King evaluating Dr. Wade Cartwright.
So this was an intriguing presentation. It started out with Dr. Cartwright telling us that he wanted one member to give a quote, and then the next member that he would call on would expound on that quote for 1 to 2 minutes. I was so impressed with the fact that somewhere along the way, there was a miscommunication. He didn't get ruffled. He kept right on going because somebody gave a quote and went on and defined it themselves. Now, that is not what I understood him to say initially. However, at the conclusion of each person's presentation for 1 to 2 minutes, he gave feedback to mirror what he heard them saying. And the people that he called on were Mike, who talked about Dr. Seuss. He called on Wes, who talked about Napoleon Hill. He called on Hank, who gave us a quote from Mark Twain. He called on Kawaza, who spoke to us about what the mind can conceive, you can achieve. He called on me, and I gave one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. When they show you who they are, believe them the first time. Then he attempted to trick me because he, Dr. Cartwright himself, asked me, how would I interpret the saying, you can't judge a book by its cover? I don't think he remembered that I said I was a published author and that I have a book with a cover. So I reversed that question and gave him the understanding that, yes, indeed, you can judge a book by its cover. He got that because he started out by saying, now let's have some fun. But the joke was actually on him. So sometimes you never know how things are going to turn out. But it was a bit of folly. We enjoyed it. And his active listening skills are on point. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we'll have a report from our timer.
Thank you, Mr. G. I apologize first because I misunderstood Dr. Wade, and supposed to be active listening, but I guess I was not listening. However, my report is as follows. Mike's speech supposed to be from 10 to 12 minutes, and he spoke for 14 minutes and 27 seconds. But I love, it was a good speech and a good team. And Dr. Wade, in general, all of us spoke for 20 minutes. Everybody had time for 20 minutes. Quasi evaluation, 2 minutes and 36 seconds. And DeMarie evaluation, exactly 2 minutes and 4 seconds. That's my report. Back to you, Mr. GE.
Thank you, thank you.
And may I say something, Mr. GE?
Yes,
I was not being critical of anyone. And Wes, I understand you were focused and concentrating on timing. How you were able to do both has amazed me as well, because I know that's where your focus was. So no, I was not trying to criticize the respondents.
understood.
Thank you.
Well, just observationally, so before I started to speak, the term came to mind, small but mighty. So we were small in numbers, but definitely mighty in terms of what we achieved and did here in tonight's meeting. We've got some great information, some wonderful tips and guidance from Mike about being a club coach, and also from Dr. Wade in terms of active listening. I'm a strong believer in speaking is not only being able to verbalize one's thoughts, but active listening is important as a part of communication and expanding one's understanding with another person. So we did that, and we were also able to engage on a little more, I don't want to say crosstalk, but definitely engage in sharing ideas more so than might normally be in the meetings. So even though we started late and we had smaller numbers, I think that we definitely got some good information exchange and ideas. So that's my report as general evaluator. And I am going to switch hats now and put on the hat of club president. I have a couple of things to share, or as that famous actor, rap person said, I've got something I want to say. First of all, next week, we will be fortunate to have as our speaker, DeMarie Shy King. She will, DeMarie, will you just give us the area of your topic of your speech?
Wow. So before I do that, let me say that I had never evaluated someone on table topics before as an active listener. And I know that as members of Toastmasters, we've heard that when you become a more enhanced evaluator, you tend to become a better speaker. Because in order for me to evaluate Dr. Cartwright's listening skills, guess what I had to do? I had to listen. I had to listen to what everybody said, and I had to listen to what he said, because there's no way that I could have applied any evaluation criteria had I not listened to both sides. So sometimes when we have to function in a certain role, we become better at that thing itself. But what I will be doing on next week is talking about the journey that I have taken to become a distinguished Toastmaster. I'm excited, I'm humbled, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with all of you. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Kawaza.
Thank you for being willing to share your ideas and insights at our club level. I think it's exciting, and I think it's a good way as we come towards the end of this year as Toastmasters. Now, there's something else that I want to say as club president. This is May, and next month is June, when we will be needing to choose new officers for the club. I cannot be president for another term, so there will be a candidate put forth to be club president, and we'll have names for secretary, treasurer, tech host, sergeant at arms. Information will go out in an email, and we will have a vote of approval at the end of the month. But I'm just letting the club members know about that now so folks can be aware. I have some other information to share. Unfortunately, I don't have my snares set up, so I can't do a drum roll. However, drum roll, please. Dr. Wade Cartwright has just been awarded level 1 completion in the team collaboration pathways. Congratulations, Dr. Wade Cartwright. What this means is his level 1 completion puts the Vision Masters Club over the goal line for President's Distinguished status for this year. Congratulations to everybody. Dr. Wade Cartwright, Wesson Saheim, Hank Cartwright, for your speeches, for moving through pathways to help us achieve this goal. Congratulations, congratulations.
Well, at this time, I would like to acknowledge and congratulate Mike Pruett, who was very helpful, and Cynthia Stott, who really did some heavy lifting. Without this kind of help, we could not have accomplished what we did. So thank you very much.
I agree, Dr. Wade. Mike, as club coach, you definitely deserve applause and recognition for being there, for your guidance and getting this done. And she's not here tonight. I don't know. Is Cynthia able to take phone calls?
Yes, she's having a little trouble with her phone, but you can usually leave a message for her and she'll try to get back to you.
Okay, because I'd definitely like to call and let her know, because she is definitely a major force in getting this happening. But thank you, our club coaches and mentors. Thank you very much. So that was the major announcement that I had. What I'd like to do, as we got a few minutes here, is for next week's meeting, start filling in some of the roles. Hank, if you would be willing, could you do our Zoom tech for next week's meeting?
My sound cut out for a moment. I didn't hear what you, I didn't hear your question. Can you say that again?
Sure, I'll say that again, but I also, before I do that, sorry, I'm trying to read my notes here as I was scribbling them. DeMarie Shy King, thank you as well for your presence, for being here as part of our club achieving its goals. You were present, you've been able to participate, get people here and guide us as well. So thank you, DeMarie Shy King. Now, Hank, I was asking you if you would be willing to be our Zoom tech host for next week's meeting.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that should be no problem at all.
Thank you.
Jesse postponed his speech for next week. He will be a speaker too. I think speaker number 2 next after DeMarie.
Okay, thank you. And if he can give us that information, we can put that on the agenda.
Okay.
Dr. Wade, would you be willing to be Toastmaster?
Of course. Now we need a GE.
What's that? You said you wanted to be GE?
Well, if no one else.
Well, heck, I mean, you have choices. Isn't it? Life is always full of choices. If you would like to be GE, sure, you can be GE.
Okay.
I'll be Toastmaster then.
Okay.
Unless someone else would like to be Toastmaster. Weston, is there a role that you would like?
You can give me any role you like.
Would you like to be Toastmaster?
I'll try.
Oh, you've done it before.
I will try. Yeah. Whatever you want me to give me, I'll be here next week.
Okay. So we need a timer and a grammarian.
And are you performing tabletop?
And evaluators. DeMarie.
So can we have the speakers evaluate each other?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ah, wow. Now that's new, but that's interesting.
That's a good idea, DeMarie.
So who is speaker number 2?
JC.
I will
JC Young.
evaluate him and he will evaluate me. How about that?
Yes.
Interesting. Excellent. Boy.
And then I can do table topics if you would like.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's now. Wow.
Yes, please. Boy, this is going to be fun and interesting.
Yeah, it'd be good.
So, Dr. Wade, are you GE or a grammarian or Toastmaster? Which one?
GE.
Okay. Quasi?
Well, geez.
Grammarian?
I'll be grammarian.
Okay.
Wow.
And Hanks and
He's muted, but he's trying. I see him moving his mouth, but he's muted, Hank.
the timer or beside the host?
I had him as tech host.
Quaz asked me to be tech host, so that's what I agreed to so far.
Okay. Can you do the timer as well or no?
Sure, I can be timer also. Yeah, timer is fine.
Okay.
Someone else can be table topics master because I don't want to take something away from Mike Pruett if that's what he'd like to do.
Oh. If this was a tennis match, that was a beautiful lob. Mike,
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that, table topics.
okay,
Thank you, Mike.
great. This is good. This is interesting. Boy, this will be a fun meeting.
I'd like to thank Dee Marie for her support. Thank you, Dee Marie. You know why I say thank you, I guess.
I certainly do. And I'm simply passionate about Toastmasters, and I am so very humbled by the success and the growth that you all have demonstrated this year. Watching you pull together and bring the club up the way it has is just, it's really great. It's been a great experience. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Dee Marie. By the way, if I can share, Dee Marie shared that she's a member of Leaders Worldwide, and they are located out here. But Dee Marie shared that she had not joined one of the local Toastmaster clubs in her area. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Here you are just really having impact, etc. And now you're going to have an opportunity to say hi to some of the local folks in one of the local Toastmaster clubs in your area.
So I have decided it's all about branding. And what that means is people should know and have an opportunity to embrace whatever your platform is. And with my platform being domestic violence, and understanding that Toastmasters has actually given me a voice, added impact to my statements. I needed to brand myself in the Nashville area. I've started attending Zoom meetings. I've gone to 2 meetings in person and have been warmly received by the members of the clubs here in the local area. Have not joined a club yet, but that's my plan. That is on the horizon. I have invited some of those members to the event that's going to take place on Monday. So I'm excited about a lot of that. There are so many unique things that are going to take place. So if you can be there, I would certainly consider it a privilege to have you join Leaders Worldwide on Monday, May 6th at 5:30.
Yes, indeed.
Can we have the demographics of the details of the meeting?
I sent an invitation to your president, but I will be sending out the registration link on tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So he'll be able to get that to you, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. This has been very rich and full. Thank you, Mike, for your speech. Thank you, Dee Marie, for your speech and input. And again, thank both of you for your input and energies in helping this club to become President Distinguished. That is something special, special, special. Thank you, Dr. Cartwright, for your work on going through pathways. Thank you, Weston, for your work on going through pathways. And thank you, Hank. You've joined our club. You've moved through pathways. You've assumed responsibilities. Thank you very much.
Let me say something, Kawaza. You are aware that since you are President's Distinguished Club, that at the May conference that will be held on next Saturday,
Right, the
uh,
11th?
11th, they have something called the Parade of Banners. And that is that any club that is President's Distinguished or higher can get in the parade and showcase the banner for their club. I don't know the
Ooh.
particulars, but you might want to get in touch with either Lisa Thompson or Sally Philbin, and they can explain
Okay.
it.
Okay, I was planning to attend in person. So,
So you would simply get the banner that represents your club and take part in the parade of banners. Yes.
okay. Showcase Vision Masters, yay. Get a hold of
And
that.
I certainly want to say congratulations to all of you. I know you must be proud of yourselves because I am certainly proud of you.
Yes, everyone has done some real hard work here. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't have anything else to say right now. So unless somebody else has something to add, we'll end our meeting and I'll see. Hopefully I'll see you Monday, but definitely we'll see you next Thursday.
Have a great night, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your meeting tonight.
Thank you, and thanks for being a part of our meeting and pulling over, even though well, it probably delayed you a little bit on your drive, but thank you very much.
Great
Thank
meeting,
you.
everybody.
Good evening. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Wade.
Thank
That
you,
was
Hank.
very good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
for-
Hank.
We
Okay.
have a full agenda for next week. Oh, that's wonderful. I like it.
Yes, it is.
Huh?
Yes, it is.